The Verity Baptist Church is in Sacramento, California. It's only a few years old. They've got a few hundred followers on their Facebook page. On their website, the church says eternal salvation is achieved not through works, but through faith and grace. And now, thanks to the church's YouTube page, the work of their pastor is getting them quite a bit of national attention. The church posted this video online of their pastor, Roger Jimenez, speaking at the pulpit just a few hours after the massacre in Orlando on Sunday. They titled the clip of this sermon, "The Christian Response to the Orlando Murders." And I want to warn you in advance that despite the anodyne nature of that title, a lot of people will find these remarks by Pastor Jimenez to be upsetting.
People say, like, well, aren't you sad that 50 sodomites died? Here's the problem with that. It's like the equivalent of asking me, you know, what if you asked me, hey, are you sad that 50 pedophiles were killed today? No, I think that's great. I think that helps society. You know, I think Orlando, Florida is a little safer tonight. Now that 50, you know, the tragedy is that more of them didn't die. I mean, the tragedy is, I'm kind of upset that he didn't finish the job. If we lived in a righteous nation with a righteous government, then the government should be taking them. There's no tragedy. I wish the government would round them all up, put them up against a firing wall, put a firing squad in front of them, and blow their brains out.
That was Pastor Roger Jimenez. In his Sunday evening sermon, he preaches at a Baptist church in Sacramento, California, called Verity Baptist. There have been some on the political right who have argued in response to the Orlando massacre that non-Muslim gay people in this country should turn against Muslims and become anti-Muslim after this attack because somehow Islam is uniquely violent and uniquely intolerant toward gay people, and this attack shows that. Well, in the last couple of days, a vocal and terrifying minority of hard-right Christian pastors in the United States, including Pastor Jimenez, they're doing their best to blow that argument out of the water, but Pastor Jimenez is not alone.
Everybody, Pastor Steven Anderson here from Faithful Word Baptist Church in Tempe, Arizona. And I just wanted to record a quick video about the news this morning about the shooting in Orlando. I guess a Muslim terrorist went into a gay bar and shot him up. And there's 50 sodomites, homosexuals that have been killed, and another 50 some odd injured. And then the Muslim guy himself was shot by the police, it sounds like. And here's the good news and the bad news about this. You know, the good news is that there's 50 less pedophiles in this world because, you know, these homosexuals are a bunch of disgusting perverts and pedophiles. That's who was a victim here. The Bible says that homosexuals should be put to death in Leviticus 20:13. Obviously, it's not right for somebody to just, you know, shoot up the place because that's not going through the proper channels. But these people all should have been killed anyway, but they should have been killed through the proper channels, as in they should have been executed by a righteous government that would have, you know, tried them, convicted them, and saw them executed, because in Leviticus 20:13, God's perfect law, he put the death penalty on murder, and he also put the death penalty on homosexuality. That's what the Bible says. And you know, the good news is that at least 50 of these pedophiles are not going to be harming children anymore. The bad news is that a lot of the homos in the bar are still alive.
That was Pastor Steven Anderson of the Faithful Word Baptist Church in Tempe, Arizona. Both of those videos we just showed there, Christian pastors in the United States actively supporting the murders in Orlando because the victims were gay. Those videos were both removed from YouTube for violating the site's policy on hate speech. But that kind of thing can't stop Pat Robertson on live television doing it his way, like he's done for decades now.
But the fact that this Islamic gentleman opens fire in a gay nightclub and kills almost 50 homosexuals, that says something. And it tells the fact that Islam is against homosexuality. So the liberals are going to be scrambling to find some rationale. I think they're going to have a hard time doing it. So the left is having a dilemma of major proportions, and I think for those of us who disagree with some of their policies, the best thing to do is to sit on the sidelines and let them kill themselves.
Sit on the sidelines and let them kill themselves. 700 Club today put out a statement after those comments from Pat Robertson today. They said, quote, Dr. Robertson's commentary today about the left, gay, and Muslim communities was clearly referring to politics. Killing themselves politically. Whatever that means. While this response that has begun to emerge from this tragedy is disgusting and awful and upsetting, right? The framing of the gunman's actions as a positive. This narrative does become more complicated and inconvenient in light of new reports emerging that the Orlando gunman had a profile in a number of gay dating apps, that he once asked a male classmate out romantically, that he'd been seen hanging around the Pulse nightclub, not just immediately before the attack, but for years prior to the attack. The FBI telling NBC News today that they are taking these claims seriously, although we don't know what they're going to do with them. There's also new reporting today that his wife drove him to the Pulse nightclub sometime prior to the attack. She says purportedly to scope it out prior to shooting it up. His wife is reportedly cooperating with authorities. She said she tried to talk him out of the attack. But the idea that there are simple dividing lines here is getting harder to take day by day. And we've got somebody to talk directly to that issue from Orlando with us next. Stay with us.